How we doing, guys? In this video, I'm going to give you the reality of making 0, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, and upwards of $100,000 a month as a teenager. Now, a little bit about me. I run at Fantasy Football Rocket on Instagram. I have a sports media company. If you don't know who I am, check it out. I'll leave the link below. And I've made over $1.5 million in my business, and I've got to upwards of $150,000 profit in a single month at 19 years old. Now, I turned 20 a few days ago, but when I hit those numbers, I was 19. So I'm just going to talk to you guys a little bit heart to heart about what it's really like, what's true about what people think, what I thought before I got to those numbers, what's not true, and how you're going to be able to get there. So first, I was a high school kid. I was broke. I had ambition, but I was just working normal part-time jobs, and I honestly didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Luckily, midway through about senior year, I came across a course. I know, the usual, but I came across a course on how to make sports content. I was always a fan of sports. I always played sports my whole life. I was like, okay, I'm going to start this. I'm going to see how it goes. I spent all my money I had at the time on that, $3,000. I had probably about $5K total. So I paid this guy $3,000, listened to the course, and I grinded. I posted 4 videos a day on that page for about 6 months. I finally popped off, got to like 75, 100,000 followers. And that first NFL season, a few months after I had started, probably about 3 months in, I started making a few $1,000s a month, $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, $4,000 a month. To me in high school, this was crazy money. I was rich. I was balling. So I bought my first car. I bought a Jaguar F-Type R. It was about $40,000, which they're like, okay, how are you buying this expensive of a car when you're making a few thousand a month? But I was high off life. I believed in myself. I still do. This is basically my business philosophy, but I believed in myself. I was spending $1,500 a month with insurance on this car when I was making $3,000 a month. So I had no room for error, but my numbers were going up, my followers were going up. I knew as the NFL season started, since it is a sports media company, I was gonna make more money. So I bought the Jaguar, drove it around school. It was honestly the craziest experience of my life because it was my first taste of money. No one in my town really had money. I came from a small town in New York. If you guys know, it's called Rochester, upstate New York. No one has money. We're not broke. It's middle class, suburban, but you don't see cars like that. Even though it's only a $40,000 car, if you guys know what a Jaguar F-Type looks like, it definitely looks a lot more expensive than it is. But yeah, that's really when I got inspired. So something I would tell to someone starting out before I get into the rest of the story on how I got to over 100K a month is you need to do whatever it takes to get inspired. You can spend money on a watch, all your money on a watch. If you make your first 10K, I would say to blow it. 20K, blow it. Who cares? You need to make more, and you need to feel what it really feels like to have that wealth abundance mindset. You can think about it all you want. You can watch all the content you want. But the reality is, until you feel it in your own hands, once you see it in time and you experience it, that's when your mindset shifts. If me as an 18-year-old at the time, I was only 18 when I got this Jag, could experience something like that, drive a crazy sports car, for my age, crazy sports car, and see other people double my age just with their normal miserable lives, driving their Hondas, divorces coming, just living their normal miserable lives. It really shows, not to other people, but to yourself, that it's possible. And even though you always think it's possible before it actually happens, it really solidifies it. It's hard to explain to you guys until you've experienced it, but when you get that first piece of money and you really experience that abundance mindset, it'll shift your brain, and then from there it should be no brakes, all speed forward, because basically you're understanding that it is possible. And now that it's possible, you feel like you can accomplish anything, even though you've barely accomplished anything yet, if that makes sense. So I recommend first money you make, blow it, go buy some stuff that makes you feel rich so you can really experience it. And then we'll go from there. So after I bought this Jag, like I said, it was the craziest experience of my life. Driving this around school, around my hometown, getting a ton of eyes. Oh my God, you have this car. I mean, to them, it looks like a $100,000 car. It was only 40K. But still, I did that. And then after about 1 month of having this car, I started to make 10K a month. Then I made 30,000 in a month. Then I made 75,000 in a month. My page and my business was booming. And then in December of 2023 is when I made over $150,000, $152,000 profit, to be exact, not revenue, in my business. And then that was the craziest. That was probably, besides when I first got the Jag, that was probably the second craziest experience, because it made me really realize how, not only how possible everything was, but how ridiculously easy it is to make money. Yes, like I said, I grinded my page. I worked really hard. I was clicking buttons on a screen. But from the background I come from basically what my family did, like my dad works extremely hard his entire life. And my grandfather, who owned a construction company, worked on site every day of his life. I worked with him a little bit before he unfortunately passed away. You see what real hard work looks like. And in today's day and age, you really need to be grateful, because you can get rich by clicking buttons on a screen. And if you have any sort of hustle, you can outcompete everybody. So when I really started to make those insane numbers, like over $100,000 in that month of December, it was surreal, and it really solidified everything I had in my mindset, because I knew money was easy to make. I knew you could get rich off social media. You just needed the right vehicle. I knew you could outcompete these other people who are just being bums, drinking, smoking, doing the usual lazy things. But it really takes that experience to solidify it. So after I did that, it really inflated my ego. I mean, you make $150,000 in a month at 19 years old. I mean, it really does inflate your ego. So kept going on with my business, $100,000 months, $90,000 months. I was still staying around that range for the next 3 months. But after about 4 months from that, I lost a few of my partnerships. I can't speak about exactly what happened. Luckily, I've retrieved those back now, but it was one of the darkest points in my life, because I thought it was all crashing down. I, just a year ago at that point, had started from zero, gone to over $100,000 a month. It was like a roller coaster, and then came all crashing down. So that, it took me some resilience to really, bounce back from that, because basically it's hard to explain with you guys not totally understanding what my business is. But one of the main ways I make money is through sponsorships with companies. I lost my sponsorships, or my clients, you could say. And really I was out of income sources. I had a couple left, but I was losing the major ones, and I had to recover. Luckily, I kept my head high. I kept working. I eventually retrieved those partnerships back pretty quick, and we got over it. But it's important in tough times, when you think it's all crashing down, to just get closer to God, keep working, keep doing what you're supposed to every single day, and then it will turn around. If you truly believe it will turn around, it will. If you give your all to anything in life, the universe will reward you. You will get what you want, but you're not going to get what you want. You're going to get what you work for. You're going to get what you deserve. As much as you put into whatever you're doing is exactly how much you're going to put out. It's one of Newton's laws. You need an input to get an output. A moving force will impact a force, and then it will move the force. If it's an object that isn't moving and nothing hits it, it's not going to move. You need to put input into your business, into your life, into whatever you want to change, and that exact amount of input you put in, you will somehow get output. It just depends on the time frame, based on what you're doing and based on how much you're putting in, when you'll actually see the fruits of your labor. But once you actually start to put your all into your business, because someone could be looking on the outside, looking in, and it could look like you're working really hard, but you're not actually working really hard. You can't trick the universe. You can't trick God. You can't trick destiny. So you need to actually put your all into your business. It doesn't matter if someone's watching, and it doesn't matter if you're just sitting in your room by yourself. You need to put your all into your business, into whatever you're trying to improve, and you will get what you want. It is a universal law. You will get what you want. I'm a testament to that. Many of my other successful friends are testaments to that. If you study human psychology, if you study the law of attraction, you will also realize that is 100% true. So if you want to succeed, if you want to get to crazy numbers, yes, you're going to be neglected by your friends and family at the start. Yes, you're going to be called cringe. Yes, you're going to be the different kid that's not just in college, or if you're older, that's not just working a job and you're taking the riskier route. But I promise you, from someone who's done it, once you start to get success, not only will all those people change their opinions about about you and want to be your friend, it will be 110% worth it, because you've achieved the life of your dreams. And it doesn't matter. We're all going to die in 70, 80 years. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks. It doesn't matter what even your parents think, to be honest, because if they truly love you, which they probably do, most parents do, then once you do succeed and you prove them wrong, that they thought it was impossible, they will still be on your side. You're not going to lose your relationship with your parents just because they disagree with you when you start. You're not going to lose your true friends, because if they were your true friends, they would have supported you from the start. All you're going to do is see who the snakes in the grass are, and you're going to be able to cut them out. And if you want to, you can flex on them when you make it. So guys, that is the reality of making upwards of $100,000 a month at 19 years old. I'm 20 now. It's been a crazy ride. I appreciate all you guys watching. If you want to see more business content, lifestyle content, just what I'm doing day to day, also giving a lot of business and life lessons that I've learned, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.